A lot of people seem to believe that Anthony Joshua should be fighting much, much tougher opposition than he's fighting at the moment, including the guy he's facing tonight, Dennis Baktov. People believe that he should be in much more competitive fights than these. This will be Anthony Joshua's 9th pro fight. What I would say to you people is, go and have a look at the 9th professional fight of Lennox Lewis, Wladimir Klitschko, and Mike Tyson. I've left annotation links on screen right now to each one of those fighters' 9th pro fights. None of those fights last longer than 1 round. Go and have a look at those fights. Pause this video. Go and watch those fights. They're only 1 round each. Go watch those fights. And then come look at the opponents they're fighting. And then come back to this video and try and tell me that those opponents are any better than Dennis Baktov. Try and tell me that. People have to understand there's a process that fighters go through. You're not just going to throw a guy like Anthony Joshua in with legitimate contenders in his 9th pro fight. There's a process you have to go through in developing a fighter. He has to hone his routine. He has to perfect his technique at a particular level. Once his technique is at a certain level, then you can step him up and see how his technique holds up at that level. If he's struggling at that level, then he needs more time at that level to perfect his technique. Once the technique is perfected, then you move up a level. There's a process that you have to go through with these fighters, especially a guy like Joshua, who didn't have many amateur fights, relatively speaking. Wladimir Klitschko and Lennox Lewis had way more amateur fights than Anthony Joshua. Lewis went to 2 Olympics and the World Championships, all types of different amateur competitions. Klitschko had over 100 amateur fights. Anthony Joshua only had about, 30-something or 40-something amateur fights? Relatively few. The only guy who you can compare him to in that regard is Tyson, who only had 20-odd amateur fights. But as I say, Tyson in his 9th pro fight, he was fighting journeyman too. So go and have a look at the 9th pro fight of the fighters I just mentioned. I've left annotation links on screen right now to make it nice and easy for you. It's only 1 round fights. Go and have a look at their opponents. Tell me, come back and tell me that they're any better than Dennis Baktov. And drop a comment below when you've watched those fights. All right? People are saying that Joshua's being overhyped and this, that, and the other by his promoter. Well, that's his promoter's business. That's his promoter's fault. As an intelligent human being, you should be able to know when the promoter's just doing the job of a promoter and promoting and hyping. That's what he does. That's not Anthony Joshua's fault. In terms of his level of opposition, ain't nothing wrong with Joshua's level of opposition for this stage of his career. It's certainly no worse than Tyson or Lewis or Klitschko's level of opposition in their 9th pro fight. So, yeah, go and have a look at the fights. Come back and drop a comment. This is Hatman. I'm out.